Hi guys! Oh my goodness, I just had trouble with our technology. What is going on here, you guys? I am telling you, even adults, even old people have trouble with technology. Good morning, you guys. Welcome. We're gonna bake. Who's excited to bake? I am excited to bake with you guys today. So first thing we need to do is we need to say hi. My name is Nellie. My real name is Janelle. If you can guess, my nickname is Nellie. And I bet that you guys have nicknames too. So first thing, if you can tell me what your nickname is. We're gonna bake. Who's excited to bake? I would love to know what your nickname is. So that's the first thing. Second thing that we have to do is we have to have a few rules. Okay, rule number one. I want you guys to make sure you have grown-ups nearby because I want you to do as many things as you possibly can all by yourself, but we are going to be using an oven and we know that kids aren't supposed to use ovens by themselves. So I want you to make sure you have a grown-up nearby, okay? And then I want you to be safe, okay? So we're gonna wash our hands because Corona, I mean, who is sick and tired of Corona right now? I'm sick and tired of Corona. We're gonna wash our hands and we're gonna make sure that we are very careful with all the things that we're gonna do, okay? So those are the two important things that we're gonna do. And then lastly, we're just gonna make sure we have fun. So here's the main thing when we bake. When we're not really good bakers, and usually most kids aren't very good bakers because hello, you're kids. That's just how it goes, right? We still need to make sure we have fun. So even if your food isn't delicious or your cookies get burnt, or let's say there's little piles of flour, ew, gross, in your cookies that didn't get stirred, that's okay, because we just want to make sure we have fun, okay? Because fun is the most important part. Okay, so those are the three main rules. Grown-up has to be nearby so that they can help. You need to be sure you're safe, and you need to make sure that you have fun. Three main rules. Okay, so first thing we have to do is we have to get our ingredients together. Now, I put an ingredient list in your guys' event, and hopefully you already got your ingredients, but if not, let's get our ingredients, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna need to have is a bowl. Now, you might have a big giant mixer. Let me show you what kind of a giant mixer you might have. If I can get my whole giant mixer out. You might have this kind of a mixer. You need a grown-up to help you with this. Or you might have this kind of a mixer. Or you don't have any of those kinds of mixers and you have this kind of a mixer. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Brenda, nice to see you. It's in the ingredient list is in the kids baking class discussion. There's a list there. Also, we are gonna be using Drummonds potato chip chocolate chip cookies, and you can Google that and find that online. Zona, your parents were deaf and my name is Zona. They called you Dinky. They couldn't say it, so they called you. That's really adorable. I like that, Zona. I like that a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna use this bowl and I'm gonna use this mixer. That's what I'm gonna use. So you guys make sure you have your own version. Then, this is our ingredients today. You need to have 2 sticks of butter. And you need to make sure your butter is soft. And I'm gonna show you a quick trick in case you didn't soften your butter first. But go in the fridge and get 2 sticks of butter out and get those out right away, okay? Because we need those soft. Then you're gonna need, can you guys see over here? No. Why do I have to get everything that's so hard to lift all by myself? You need some sugar, and we're gonna use 2 kinds of sugar. And can anybody tell me what the difference is between white sugar and brown sugar? So here's brown sugar and here's white sugar. What do you think they put in the brown sugar to make it different than the white sugar? Any guesses? Can you guess? You can do a quick Google if you wanted to. Okay, brown sugar and white sugar. We're gonna use two kinds because both kinds of sugar makes the cookie taste a little bit different. If we used only one kind, we would have different kinds of cookies. So we're gonna use two kinds. And then we need to have 2 eggs. Mine are kind of little eggs, but 2 eggs. Mine are brown eggs. Do you know why they're brown eggs? Why are mine brown and not white? What color do you think the eggs are when they come out of the chicken? You think they come out white? All right, and then we need some flour. Now, if you need to, you can use gluten-free flour in these cookies and that will be totally just fine. Then we need some salt. Does that keep doing that? It does, doesn't it? Let's see if I can move that just a bit without messing it up. We need some salt. Why do we need salt in cookies? Do you know that salt makes our tongues taste chocolate better? So when we make chocolate chip cookies, when we add a little bit of salt to the chocolate chip cookies, it makes our tongue taste the chocolate chips even better. That's why salted chocolate is so special, because our tongues go when they see the chocolate. Well, they don't see the chocolate. You know what I mean. They taste the chocolate. Yes, it is brown, absolutely. And then we need baking soda. Baking soda is kind of like baking powder in our cookies. It makes it puff up a little bit. The baking soda and the flour and the butter do a little happy dance in our cookies, and they make it puff up and be awesome. And we need those together, okay? And then the most important part of our entire recipe, chocolate chips. I'm using cheap chocolate chips. Parents, I know, this is what I had. I'm just gonna clarify. Normally, I would grab something else. Molasses is what is put into brown sugar. Yes, they mix up molasses and white sugar together. I know, right? All right, so with chocolate chip cookies, you need chocolate chips. And then our cookies are extra special and extra fun. And you guys, I've made these with kids on baking classes about a dozen times, and these are by far their favorite. And so we are gonna use potato chips in our cookies. I know. Now, I almost forgot to get potato chips, you guys, and I had an order come to my house for groceries, and this is what I got. So these are the kind I have. But you might want to use like Lay's or your ordinary kind of potato chips. Now, why do you think potato chips would make our chocolate chip cookies taste that much better? Other than, of course, potato chips are just amazing. There is that salt in there again. So good. All right. So, first thing we have to do when we make cookies is turn on our oven. I always forget to turn my oven on at the beginning. We turn on our oven so that our cold cookies hit a hot oven and immediately they start having magic, okay? If we wait to turn on our oven until it's later, it's not gonna be super hot, and then our cookies are kind of gonna warm up and they don't have as much magic, okay? So we want to turn on our oven, and we are gonna turn, I'm looking at my recipe right here. We wanna turn our oven on to 375 degrees. If we were gonna make a cake, we would probably have it at 350 degrees. 375 for cookies, okay? I'm gonna turn my oven on, you turn your oven on, I'll be right back. All right, oven on. Now, next thing that we need is we need to get some pans. Now, if you have a small space, so I have a pretty small space I'm working with, you might want to leave your pans put away until you're ready to use them. But if you have a big kitchen and lots of counter space, you might want to go ahead and get your pans. So we're gonna have cookie sheets. You probably need 2 cookie sheets if you can. If your mom and dad say it's okay to make a mess of 2 cookie sheets. Otherwise, what we can do is we can go ahead and put on 1 batch, take it off after a while, and put another batch on. But it's best to do 2 cookie sheets if you have them. Okay, and then now we're just gonna get started. So the first thing we wanna do is cream together. That is the weirdest word, isn't it? We're gonna cream our butter and our sugar. Why do you think they call it creaming together? Because it gets creamy. I don't know why. Okay, but here's what we need to do. We need to take our butter. Wait, is your butter soft? Mine is pretty soft, but not all the way soft. Let me show you a science trick. Are you ready for a science trick? Okay, so something important. Grown-ups, if you're paying attention, if you're listening, you gotta listen to this too. This is important. Never, ever, ever put your butter in the microwave to unthaw, to soften. There we go. Because the microwave breaks down, means it messes up all the special things in butter that we use for baking. And when we put it in the microwave, it messes up with our baking. So you really, really, really want to try hard to remember to put your butter out before you need it. Or, let me show you a trick. All right, butter on the counter. We're gonna get a glass, a tall glass. Okay, I'm gonna grab a glass right here in front of me. Tall glass. Turn the sink on to super hot water, okay? We wanna get really, really hot water. I'm waiting. We're gonna fill this thing up with super hot water so that it gets hot, okay? Still waiting, it's still cold. It's like it's waiting for me to hurry it up, but I'm trying to tell it, it has to go faster. Move along. All right, let's see. Almost there. All right, fill it up. This is important. One time I had a kid who forgot to do this part, that wasn't listening, and put his butter into the glass. Dump the water out. That's really important. Dump the water out. Now take this glass, take this butter, flip it upside down, and leave it for a little bit. What it does is it steams up that butter and warms it up in there. You might have to do that a few times because one time, especially if you just took your butter out of the fridge, it'll take a few times to do that. But then it won't make your butter messed up for baking. Okay, but let me tell you a little secret. For the purpose of our cookies and the purpose of going a little bit faster, I'm going to give you permission to put your butter in the microwave. Maybe ask your mom and dad if they can help you because they might know a trick for doing a 30% power is what they call it, or like something else. Maybe ask them to do it for you because that's better. Or you can just let it sit here, okay? All right, so that's a trick. Mine is soft, so I don't have to keep doing that anymore. Where do I put that? All right. Butter is gonna go in our bowl. Wait, whoa, stop. Corona people, we gotta wash our hands. Stop. I'm gonna poison somebody. I almost forgot. Not a plan. Not a good plan. Okay. Now I'm safe. Now I am safe. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our butter into our bowl. And before we put the sugar, okay, so don't put the sugar in yet, because if you add your sugar and your butter together and then put your mixer in there, you are gonna make a big poof and it's gonna make a giant mess. And you're responsible for cleaning up messes today, so we don't wanna do that. Okay, so we're gonna put our mixer, get your mixer out. If you have that great big giant mixer, you might need a grown-up to help you. Mixer and your beaters, and if you know how, you kind of stick them in and turn them a little bit so that they don't come out. And if you don't know how, then go ask a grown-up to help you. Stick them in like this. There, okay? And then on the front of your mixer, there's gonna be some buttons. We wanna go with only the very, very, very first one. That's the slowest. Just to mix it up a little bit, and then eventually we'll go faster, but only the slowest one. And if you have a great big giant mixer, you wanna push it on the side to just the slowest one, okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go like this. I want you to take your mixer and I want you to shove it into the butter. Don't hold it on top. Shove it in there a little bit. Now we're gonna turn it on slowly. And you might have to kind of watch out for that butter sputtering. It might sputter everywhere. Go slow. Hold on tight. The mixer's gonna try to get away. Did you get it? Okay, you might have to take your mixer out again, and you might have to squish it in the butter one more time because there's some big pieces that aren't getting mixed up very well. Do that a couple times, okay? Hold on tight to your mixer, hold on tight to your bowl, and ask a grown-up for help if you need to. This part takes some muscles. Okay, once you have your butter, look, all of the big pieces all mixed up together and there's no big pieces left. You squished them all, they're all smushy. Now we're gonna put our sugar in there, okay? So we have to measure our sugar. We're gonna measure 3/4 of a cup of what they call granulated sugar. That just means white sugar, okay? So we need this guy. This is white sugar. And you need a measuring cup that says 3/4 of a cup. You might have something like this, and 3/4 is 3/4. That's what 3/4 of a cup is. Okay? Now, it depends on what kind of a container your sugar is in. You might be able to just take your container and scoop it, just like that. Or you might need to use a spoon and very slowly and very carefully go like this. Just kind of depends on what kind you have. Try not to get sugar all over the counter because that's super messy. And ants like it, and we don't like ants. Okay. 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Once you get that done, we're gonna pour this into our bowl with our butter. And we're gonna go at that slow speed again. Number 1, not too fast because we don't want that sugar to go everywhere. Here's a trick that sometimes grown-ups don't even know about. Hang on, wait for me to come back. Wait. All right, if you think you're gonna make a giant mess, one thing you can do is get a towel and go like this. Make sure you leave your mixer open. And then what will happen is when the sugar poofs, it doesn't go anywhere because there's a towel over the top. This is especially good if you use powdered sugar, which makes a giant mess. Okay, here we go. Slowly. Slow until all of that butter and sugar starts to get mixed up together. Look at me, I can do it with one hand. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, so you see how mine is all getting mixed up and kind of like getting squished together? When it's starting to squish together and you're not gonna make a giant mess, then you can go to number 3 for a little bit and then number 5 for a little bit. And what we wanna do, remember how it's called creaming butter and sugar? We wanna make it creamy, okay? Woo! Super fast! I'll give you guys a little bit of time to catch up. So it should be pretty creamy, and that's why they call it creaming the butter and the sugar together. And you have to do it. Don't forget to do it, because here's what happens. Your sugar and your butter, they get mixed up together, and the sugar helps make little tiny pockets of air in the butter and with the flour, and they make these tiny little bubbles of air, and that's what makes your cookies go poof. And if you didn't do that, they would be flat and hard. They need those little pockets of air to have a little party in the oven and get a little taller, okay? Right? I know, how cool is that? Okay, are you caught up? Everybody good? Okay, so now it's time for vanilla. Vanilla. Mine's really, really tiny. Look at how small and tiny mine is. Okay, so you need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Here's a trick. Whenever you're pouring something, don't pour it over your bowl. If you pour it over your bowl and you pour too much, it all went into your bowl. So pour it over your counter or even over like a measuring spoon, so then it goes in your measuring spoon and it doesn't go into your cookies and ruin your cookies. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a grown-up, I cook a lot, and I still do this because I still screw up. Now, one more thing. You guys are just learning so many things today, aren't you? Look at my measuring spoon. I have a round one and I have a oblong rectangular one. One of these is for liquid. This is for liquid, and this is for dry. So if you ever see measuring spoons and they look different, that's why they're different. So I'm gonna use for vanilla, I'm gonna use the round one for liquid. I almost said wet, for liquid. Okay, so we're gonna put in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Do you know that vanilla, shh, don't tell the grown-ups, vanilla is made with alcohol? Shh, don't tell grown-ups. Can you believe that? They let you eat that. What on earth? Wait, my apron's trying to fall off. Okay, vanilla's in there. Now we're just gonna give it a quick beat. So we're gonna beat it for like 10 seconds. Ready, steady, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. All right, so now we need our eggs. This is tricky, but I know that you can do this. We're gonna crack eggs. If you really, really, really don't think you can crack eggs, you can go get a grown-up. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a bowl. You might need 50 bowls. Get a bowl. Don't crack your egg into your bowl, because if you get shells in there and you gotta dig it all out and you make a giant mess, it's not gonna be fun. We're gonna crack our egg into our bowl. Okay? And then if you get a shell, you only have to get it out of there. If you make, I got a shell, you guys. Got it out. If you make a giant mess and the whole egg cracks and it's just a disaster, just toss it out and get another bowl. Your eggs don't cost very much money, okay? So don't worry about it. Just crack an egg, and if you get your egg right and it's good and there's no shells, then take your egg and pour it into your bowl like that, okay? And now let's give that a quick beat. We're not gonna add our other egg yet. We're gonna only mix this egg. So again, let's do it for like, say, 6 seconds. Okay, ready, steady, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, we're gonna do it again. Once again, we're gonna crack an egg into the bowl, and maybe you need a new bowl. That's okay if you do. It's just an egg. It's not a big deal. In fact, sometimes you should get your mom or your dad to give you a whole carton of eggs just so you can practice cracking eggs. Why not? It's only like, not that expensive. All right, here's our next egg. We're gonna pop that one in the bowl. We don't need this bowl anymore. And let's go for another 6 seconds. All right, now that is all ready to go, and now it's time for us to put our dry ingredients in there. These are called our wet ingredients, and now we're gonna put in our dry ingredients. The first ingredient we need to put in there is gonna be the flour. Flour is super important. Flour. Now, here, let me tell you something. In England, well, not just in England, in lots of other parts of the world, they measure their flour with a scale. So they measure it, they weigh it. Here in America, we use measuring cups. It's kind of silly of us to do, but it's what we do. And this is actually not the right kind of measuring cup for flour. So parents, I know this, but that's okay. But what I want you guys to do is, I don't want you to scoop your flour, because that makes your flour get kind of squishy and not light and fluffy. And we need our flour to be light and fluffy. I want you to use a spoon, and I want you to scoop it, okay? So we're gonna need 2 cups of flour. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna scoop it in. When we scoop it, it helps it stay a little bit lighter and a little bit fluffier. Back in the day, when our grandmas and our great grandmas made baked things, they would sift sift their flour. Do you even know what that is? Have you ever seen anybody sift flour before? Take your flour and put it into your bowl. We need 2 cups, remember, 2 cups. You should see if you can find a flour sifter so you can see what that looks like. It's pretty cool. All right, 2 cups. Remember, don't pack that down too much. Keep it light and fluffy and put that in your bowl. And we don't need this either. I'm gonna put this right back right away so it's out of my way, okay? All right, so once again, we need to go slow on our flour because the flour is gonna try to poof. And if you were worried about it poofing, use that towel that I showed you before, okay? All right, we're gonna go slow, but we're gonna have to go for about, let's try for 12 seconds and see if that's gonna be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that enough for you? It's not enough for me. I'm gonna go 5 more, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there we go. 5. Did you hear how my mixer kind of, like it was trying really hard? That's how I know it was long enough. Okay, so there's our flour. Oh, but now we need to make sure we put in our baking soda. Our baking soda is what has a party with the butter and the sugar, and if we forget it, they can't have a party. And we need them to have a party for our cookies to be delicious. So, baking soda is this orange stuff. Sometimes they use it for cleaning. And you need 1 teaspoon. Remember, I used this one for my vanilla. This was the wet. But now I'm gonna use this side for my baking soda. Most baking soda has a little flippy thing like this that you can go in and you can scoop it. And when you scoop it, you slide it on the top up there to make it flat. Slide it along the top so it's all flat, like that. And then pop that into your bowl. And then at the same time, we're gonna use salt. Remember, we have to have salt because salt makes chocolate dance on our tongue. Salt and chocolate love each other, and so we're gonna include salt. We're gonna use a whole teaspoon. I almost poured it over my bowl, and I might have poured this entire thing in there accidentally. I'm gonna do it over my counter. 1 teaspoon of salt. All right, put that in the bowl too. Okay, we don't have to mix this for very long. So let's just go for like 5 seconds and see if that's enough. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's pretty good. What do you guys think? What'd you say? Oh, sorry. And that's all for that part. Now we are on the very, 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 very bestest part. First thing we have to do is we have to take these beaters off because we're not going to use them anymore. Now here's a trick that might get messy. No. Parents, I'm going to skip that trick, okay? You're welcome. You guys get a great big spoon and your beaters and see if you can clean off. Don't clean off all of it. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. But let's see if we can clean some of this batter off of here so we can get more cookies because it's kind of stuck to our beaters. You could use a spatula, you could use a knife, whatever you want to do. We want to try to get some of this off. And when you get a little bit of it off, there's going to be a way for you to get your beaters out of your mixer. Mine, I have this button right here. I push the button and these come right out. Everybody has a different, almost all of them have a little bit of a different way that they work. So you see which one works for you. Okay. And then we're gonna go like this. Get some more of this off. Try to get as much of that off as you can, but don't worry about being perfect. We don't have to be perfect. You can always set them aside and do them later too if you really, really want to. Okay. Now you got your big spoon, because now we're gonna use our big spoon. Okay. Let's stick our chocolate chips. I'm gonna go with the whole bag of chocolate chips. You ask your mom and dad how many chocolate chips they want you to have, but usually it's about a cup, but I like extra chocolate chips. Ooh, I better try one. Better taste them, make sure they're good. You never know. Sometimes chocolate chips go bad. You better taste it. Did you taste it? Okay, now you're gonna have to use your big spoon and you're gonna have to use your big muscles. Why are we going to stir our chocolate chips instead of using our beaters? Does anybody know? What would happen with the chocolate chips and the beaters? They would get all mixed up and the chocolate chips would make the beaters not be able to spin. It would get stuck. Almost like there's little rocks in there. It wouldn't work very well. So we gotta use our muscles and we gotta gently stir all of our dough up so that our chocolate chips are all mixed up in there. All right. Doesn't have to be too perfect because we're also going to put potato chips in there, so just kind of good. All right. There we go. Now for the next best part. You need a bag or a small bowl. Either one works. And then we're going to get out our potato chips. I think they made potato chips Nelly food. Not nice. Not nice at all. Okay. I'm gonna put, so you want about 2 cups of potato chips, okay? Don't put all of them in the bag. So leave out like a quarter of a cup. Leave just like a handful out that are whole, that don't have any, that aren't going in your bag. And the whole rest, yeah, you guys have mini chocolate chips. Oh, nice. You guys could probably put those right in the mixer, couldn't you? All right, we're gonna put these in our bowl. I'm not sure, kiddos, whether or not you guys can pour chips into a bag and not get them all over the floor, because I barely can. Be careful, all right? Oh, wait, I forgot. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, moms and dads, future reference, the cheap potato chips, like the Lay's. How to decline my son. The Lay's are the best to use for this recipe, so don't feel like you have to get expensive chips, because you really don't have to. The cheap ones are best. All right, now we have them in a bowl. I know, right? The best part of the whole thing. We're gonna squish up our potato chips. If you are mad, if your brother took away your toy, or you had to freaking brush your teeth this morning, you just take it out on those potato chips. There we go. So this is about, do we think this is about a cup? We want about 1 cup. Let me put it in my measuring cup and see. It doesn't have to be too exact. Yeah, it looks like it's about a cup. Okay. Put that straight into your bowl of chips, or a bowl of chips, your bowl of cookies. And then stir that in with your chocolate chip cookie dough. You want your potato chips to be pretty small. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh my goodness. Can you guys get a load of this dough? I mean, if they had a dough that would win a Nobel Peace Prize, it would be this dough, because, I mean, hello. You guys, if you've never made this recipe and you're just coming in right now and you're just checking what we're doing, we are making potato chip chocolate chip cookies with kids today. And if you have never tried making this recipe, it is, Google it. It's from Drummonds through the Food Network. So good. And a kid favorite every single time. Okay. Now, here's something really important to know about making cookies, particularly chocolate chip cookies. We need our dough to be cold. So what we're gonna do while we do other things is we're gonna take our dough and we're gonna put it in the fridge to chill out so that it gets cold, because what will happen is our butter will be nice and cold and firm and hard. So cold butter is hard. And when it's hard, it makes little air pockets in those cookies. Remember how air pockets are awesome for cookies? Well, when it's soft, there's no air pockets happening and they just get flat. We don't want super flat cookies. We want them to be kind of soft and kind of chewy, kind of in between. So let's pop this in the fridge, all right? I'll meet you right back here. So I live in Minnesota, you guys, and so in the wintertime when I bake these with kids, I can put my dough right outside because it is so cold here in Minnesota. I don't even have to put it in the fridge. I can just use my outside. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 2-minute break. This is super, super important. Anybody that wants to be a baker or a cook, if you're a grown-up or a kid, you have to learn to clean up what they call your station. You have to clean as you go. And so we're gonna take 2 minutes, and you do not make your grown-ups help you. You do it yourself. We're gonna clean up our mess, okay? So let's get our measuring cups put away. And in the sink, if you used them, get that egg bowl in the sink. Put your mixer away. Put your ingredients away. Get everything picked up. Save your potato chips, you guys. You're gonna need your potato chips again. Erg. Erg. What is that Barney song? Clean up, clean up. Anybody annoyed by that? I forgot to ask if anybody eats their dough. So how many of you guys, so I'm not suggesting we eat our dough because, does anybody know why we don't eat cookie dough? We don't eat cookie dough because there's salmonella in cookie dough, and salmonella makes us sick. And it's not in cookie dough, it's in eggs and it's in flour. So here's a tip. Grown-ups, if you don't like your kids eating raw cookie dough, which I know most of us are okay with, but some people really don't like it, you could make cookie dough and instead of egg, use a little bit of milk, so skip the eggs, and then take the time to toast your flour in the oven before you put it in your dough, and it kills the bacteria, and now you can eat that dough and your kids can have cookie dough, and it's super fun. So give that a try. All right, let's get this. I gotta stop talking, you guys, and start cleaning up. My goodness. Okay, are you almost done? I'm almost done. Give me a heart if you are almost done cleaning up. Give me a heart or a thumbs up. Let me know how close you are to being finished so we can wait for you for the next step. Okay, I'm gonna get my cleaner and I'm gonna clean my counter again. Who's almost ready? You almost ready to start the next step? All right, I'm gonna give you guys 20 seconds and we're gonna get started on the next step. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Was that 10 seconds? I'm not really sure. All right, here we go. Next step, we gotta wash our hands again. I know you got guys, but Corona, wash your hands again. Really good. Make sure you get your wrists and everything. All right, you guys ready to start putting those cookies together and get them in the oven? All right, now if there are more than one of you guys cooking, so if there's a family and you guys got 2 or 3 people cooking right now, then I'm gonna give you 2 jobs. If there's only one of you, you're like me, we're gonna have to do it all by ourselves. Okay, what we want to do, we want to have some extra potato chips crushed. So get your bag. Hopefully you didn't clean up your bag. I forgot to tell you not to do that. Let's crush up some more potato chips. And this time we're not going to crush them up too little. We want them to be kind of big. So kind of like that. All right, so one person can do that. Then we need our cookie sheets. So I have 2 cookie sheets. We talked about this. Our cookie dough is going to make enough for about 2 pans of cookies. And if it's okay with your mom and dad and you have 2 racks in your oven, it would be a good idea to make all of them at the same time, if you can. If you can't, that's okay. We will make one, and then you'll wait for them to cool. You'll take them off the pan, and then you'll put another batch on and put them in the oven. And that's okay, all right? Now, some of you have a cookie scoop. I have done this with kids who have cookie scoops, and if you guys have cookie scoops, you are far cooler than I am, because I don't have a cookie scoop. I have this really, really modern invention of cookies. 2 spoons. That's what I got. So when I grew up, I'm the oldest. I'm the number 1. I'm the biggest of 10 kids. We made lots of cookies, but we made them kind of the old-fashioned way. This is how we scooped them. So if you guys have cookie scoops, you totally kick my butt in coolness. All right, now that cookie dough really didn't sit in the fridge for all that long. So if you were going to make this without me, I would say go ahead and go play outside and then come bake your cookies. But you're with me and we're not waiting that long. So let's go get our cookie dough out of the fridge. Okay, I'm gonna set my pan over here. And what we're gonna do, I'm trying to see, make sure you can see. Can you see? Okay. We're gonna make these fairly small, and parents, I'm making these fairly small so that they cook quickly today, but generally speaking, let them use a full scoop if you use a cookie scoop. If you guys are using a cookie scoop, I want you to make your cookie scoop not all the way full. Okay, so make sure it's just a little bit less than full. And we're gonna put these on our pan, and we're gonna do 3 across. And don't worry about it being perfect. We just wanna make sure that there's space between them so that they don't touch each other when they cook. Make them kind of small. Don't make them too small. You wanna make them all the same size if you can, because then they all cook the same amount, and that means one of them doesn't get burned and one of them isn't underdone. They're all done the same. Okay, so you see how we kind of have space in between all of the cookies? That's what we want to do. We're going to kind of just go as fast as we can and get all of these done. If we go too slow, then that butter gets warm again, and all the work we did of putting the whole thing in the fridge doesn't even count anymore. So we want to kind of go kind of fast. If you guys have cookie scoops, you're a lot faster than I am. I tell you, somebody for Christmas, if you're watching and you're in my family, somebody needs to get me a cookie scoop. All right, so it looks like this. If you have 2 people that are cooking with you, have somebody go pop this back in the fridge, okay? All right, it looks like this. And what we want to do is we want to take some of those potato chips that we just crushed. Take just a few, stick them on the top, and kind of press them into the top of your cookies. Let's see, which one can you see? So kind of press them into the top. Ooh, that was a big bunch right there. So you have just a little bit of cookies sticking out the top. Okay. You guys, I want to apologize right now. I can't see comments, so if you are commenting, I am very, very sorry. We have had some technical stuff happen. Hopefully you're still able to have fun and stay with me even if I can't answer your questions. All right, get those in there. See how they're kind of on the top like that? Because what happens is our little tiny potato chips that are in our cookies kind of get baked and you don't know that they're there. You taste them, but you can't see them. And these stay there so that you can see them. And then when someone says, "Ooh, what kind of cookies?" "Wait, are those potato chips on top?" You can be like, "Yeah," because why wouldn't there be? All right, we're gonna put these in the oven. Grown-ups might need to help you. You know the rules in your family, so make sure you ask for help if you're not supposed to touch the oven, okay? We wanna put this in the top shelf, right? This is my favorite part. You guys give me a heart or a thumbs up if I start your Alexa. Alexa, set a timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
Give me a thumbs up if I started your timer.
This might answer your question. The film Thumbs Up was released about 77 years ago on July 5th, 1942.
So sometimes when I do these cookies and I do them with someone else that has an you know, the person, I'm not going to say her name because she will think she's supposed to talk to me. I will say, "Alexa, play Let It Go."
Let It Go by Idina Menzel on Amazon Music.
You're welcome. Isn't that so much fun? All right, you guys, let's do this next pan. Same thing we did with the other pan. We're just gonna do another pan. You know what? We might actually have more than one pan. I don't know. You guys tell me. Alexa, stop. All right. So let's get this next pan done. And again, we're gonna work as quickly as we possibly can. Make them kind of small so that they cook pretty quickly today. You can make them bigger next time when I'm not cooking with you if you wanna make them bigger and then they just take a little bit longer, that's okay. But we don't wanna have to wait forever today for your cookies to cook up. So I was wondering, how fun would it be to try like these cookies with like dill pickle potato chips or barbecue? Do you think that would taste good? I don't know if that would taste good or that would just be disgusting. Brenda, yours just went off. Isn't that fun? It's something that we have a lot of fun when I'm doing this with the kids for our baking classes. We have learned that our Alexas like to talk to each other. It's pretty fun. Okay, I'm gonna wait for just a little bit. Give me a thumbs up when you are ready and your next pan is good to go. I have a lag, you guys. I have like a 30-second to a 60-second lag, so it takes me just a bit before I see yours. Okay, we're gonna pop this into the oven on the bottom shelf. And now you need to start a second timer, okay? So if you don't have a you know her name, then you're gonna need another phone or just remember. Alexa, start a second timer for 6 minutes.
Second timer, 6 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so now all we're gonna do is wait. I'm gonna put mine back in the fridge because again, we wanna keep this cold. So I'm gonna put I forgot to put the chips on those, didn't I? Did you guys remember to put the chips on yours? I totally forgot. If you remembered, cool. If not, oh well, they'll still taste good. All right, I'm putting this in the fridge. All right, so while we wait for our cookies, they're not gonna take very long, I need to know a couple things. First thing, I wanna know how many of you are going to go back to school in like the building for like a hybrid, you're gonna go part-time, you're gonna go all the time. How many of you are gonna be homeschooled? And how many of you are doing distance learning, right? So if you don't know, guess what I did? I graduated from homeschool. So I did homeschool way before homeschool was cool. Before Corona made everybody homeschool. I did homeschool. So And then I have a son. My son Levi is 17 and he's a senior this year and he is doing distance learning. Where do I live? I live in Minnesota. Where do you guys live? I saw somebody was from Indiana, somebody was from California. I think we have a few people from Illinois, Missouri. I think there's a couple people from Missouri. Let me know where you guys live. I live in Minnesota. It's going to be 90 degrees here, which is actually hot in Minnesota, especially because we have really gross humidity. That's that water in the air. And we have really, really nasty bugs. Have you ever been to Minnesota? Anybody ever been to Minnesota? In the summertime, it's very pretty, but it's very hot and sticky. Kind of gross. Kansas City, Missouri. I thought there were some Missouri people. Homeschool. What grades are being homeschooled? What grade kids do you guys have? So I have, like I said, a senior, and I have a girl who's already graduated from college a couple years ago. You homeschool and have been for 6 years. Kudos! Yeah, I graduated homeschool. All right, Alexa, how much time is left on my timer?
You have 2 timers. A 6-minute timer with about 40 seconds left.
40
in
seconds.
second, with about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Okay. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on our light on our oven and we're gonna peek at our cookies. We're not gonna open the door if we can help it, okay? Maybe your oven light's broken and you have to open the door, but we wanna try to keep the heat in the oven as long as possible. All right, so let's turn the light on and let's peek. Ooh, mine are looking pretty good. I think they might only need a little bit longer, like maybe one more minute. Indiana. Hi, Sarah from Indiana. When we are making cookies, we want to cook our cookies a little bit less than we think we should because... Alexa, stop. Did I make yours stop too? Viking fans, school Vikings. I'm a humongous Viking fan. Humongous Viking fan. I love the Vikings. Okay. Now, we shut off our first timer, and now what we want to do, you got to get grown-up help. We want to flip our pan, so we have one pan on the bottom and one pan on the top. And a lot of ovens, they cook at different temperatures at different places in the oven. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask a grown-up to switch them, okay? So make sure your grown-up has pot holders on. We're going to take out, and we're going to move them around. When I moved them, it looked to me like I only have like 2 minutes left. So while we are doing that, we need to get some milk. If you're gonna have cookies, and we're gonna eat these cookies right now, you need milk. So you guys, I have to have almond milk because I'm dairy free. Maybe some of you guys are too. But let's go get our glasses of milk, okay? Or orange juice, or whatever it is you wanna have with your cookies. I'm gonna get milk, I'll be right back. Look at my little glass. I like to drink out of mason jars. Milk. And then if you have it, you want what's called a cooling rack. And it looks like, this isn't really, there it is. It looks kind of like this. And they're all different kinds. If you don't have a cooling rack, that's okay. You can use parchment paper. You could use a clean kitchen towel, or you could just use a clean counter. But what we want to do is we want to take our cookies off of the pan. We don't want to leave them on the pan because they'll just keep cooking. And we want to put them on the cooling rack. And the cool thing about a cooling rack is that it lets the air go underneath the cookies. So it makes the bottoms of them stop cooking and the tops of them stop cooking all at the same time. Okay? You actually meant switch, not flip. Yes, I did. Not flip, you're right. All right, so here's our cooling rack. Now remember, if you have a very small kitchen and it's hard to find space, that's why we had to clean up our mess so we had more space, because this is going to take a little space. Now, what you could do is put your cookies on top of the oven.
Your second timer is done.
Alexa, stop. You could put your cookie pan out on top of the oven when it comes out of the oven. if that's what you need to do. All right, cooling pan, our pot holders. Let's take a look at that very first pan we did, okay? Mine are almost golden brown. So I'm gonna give it like 1 more minute. I'm gonna wait. Now, if you guys have more cookie dough and you wanted to, and your mom and dad said it was okay to make 4 pans at the same time, you could be putting those cookie dough onto pans. I'm going to just say for right now that we're gonna make the 2 pans and then you guys can make the dough later, okay? Because otherwise we'll be here for like eternity making cookies together, which, don't get me wrong, I like you, but that's a long time. We're schooling a junior, sophomore, and 3rd grader. Oof, da, good on you. That's a lot. It's the high school grades are hard. My parents had a really hard time with the high school grades. But we have a 22 and a 17-year-old, and my poor kid, my senior, this is going to be, but he is in PSEO, so he's doing college online, which is helpful too. But anyways, sorry kiddos, we should not be talking without you guys involved. That is rude. Rude grown-ups. Okay, you guys ready? Oh, we gotta get a spatula. Don't forget your spatula. I almost forgot. Otherwise known as a spatula. I sometimes call it a spatula, and it annoys my children. So I say, oh, where's the spatula? And then they say, Mom, what are you talking about? You know, the spatula. What? A spatula. All right. You guys got your milk? Are we? Oh my gosh, I'm so ready for these cookies. Salt and chocolate together is the best combination. So good. Did you guys look it, you guys? This is so I didn't forget to tell you things. I have little Post-its to remind me. Turn on the oven. You have to have a Post-it so I could remember to turn on the oven. I still almost forgot to turn on the oven. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take mine out. It is up to you, but what you guys are looking for, you can go a little bit longer. You want the edges of your cookies to be dry, not wet. The centers can be a little bit wet, but those edges should be good and dry. If you wait until they're golden brown, they might overcook. So I'm gonna take mine out right now. You can go ahead and cook yours a little bit longer if you want. I'm gonna set it on the top of my oven. And I'm just gonna give it like 30 seconds. If you try to take those cookies right off the pan right now, they'll break apart. So you have to let them sit and cool for about 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, not too long, just a bit. We're gonna take a breath, we're gonna let them cool. And then we'll use our spatula and take them off and put them on our cooling rack. Some of them we might eat right away, but you know. In the meantime, we should pick up that other pan and make sure we don't burn that other pan. I've burned that other pan with other kids before because I forget about it. I think mine has about 2 more minutes left on my other pan. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
All right. Has everybody started school? We haven't started school here yet. We start school in a week, I think. I know lots of places in the country have started school. Have you guys started school where you are? I'm curious how many people are late for school starting. Okay, let's go ahead and see if your cookies are falling apart when you scoop them, then give them a little bit more time to cool, okay? Because they're not quite ready. All right, let's see. Can you guys see? Kind of, you can see. See how mine came off the pan? I'm gonna put it right over here so you can see. There we go. There we go. Perfect. If they don't come off, then give them a little bit longer to cool down. And maybe they're not quite done yet. Fingers crossed they're done. It also depends on how big your cookies were. If your cookies were a lot bigger than mine, then they are going to take longer to cook. August 3rd. You started August 3rd. Michael Bublé should be watching to see what you were drinking, right? I know. I was wondered if they had gotten him to do commercials for this stuff. I think that'd be so funny. All right, oh my goodness, you guys, it's gonna be really hard to wait. Now, I'm gonna put my pan over here on the counter because I'm gonna make another batch later. If you wanna make another batch of cookies, you wanna try to let your pan cool if you can before you put your dough on it. Because if it hits the pan when it's warm, when your pan is warm and your dough is cold, it makes your butter start to melt before it even gets to the oven, and it can't have a dance in the oven. So we want to try to let it cool down if we can. If we can't, it's okay. Alexa, stop. Sarah, you're on day 10. Oof. More power to you guys. I am glad to be out of that realm. That's a lot. It's a lot to do. All right, I'm taking this one out. I don't know where you guys are. Now I'm gonna shut my oven off because I'm not gonna make these rest of these cookies today. But if you're gonna make the rest of the cookies, leave your oven on, okay? I'm gonna let those cool just a little bit. We're almost done and we're gonna eat these! So ready. Ooh, look at my muscles. That was weird, wasn't it, you guys? What do you think? Huh? How did your guys' turn out? Are they looking pretty good? Mine are looking pretty dang good, and I'm liking this plan. All right, let's go, let's go. Oh, isn't it funny how it's so hard to wait for only 1 minute when you're really excited to try something? All I want is to be able to try one of these. All right, let's see. Perfect! All right, remember to be gentle. Be patient if it doesn't come off of there. Let it cool. All righty. Everybody got their milk? Do you guys have your milk? Just wait. I have to get a chair. All right, here we go. Everybody get their cookie. Everybody get their milk. Make sure your brothers and your sisters and your mom and your dad, everybody has a cookie. Make sure they're from the batch that came out earlier so they don't burn their tongue on them. Okay, you ready? Let's try. Wait, everybody wait, I'm gonna pause. You guys need to give me a heart or a thumbs up when your cookies are done and you are ready to try them. You need to put a comment in there because I want to wait for everybody. So there should be 7 hearts. And if you're here and you're not cooking with us, you're just watching, give us a heart so that I know, because I'm gonna sit here and wait for you. And I won't know that you're not cooking with us. So give us a heart or a comment. I gotta wait, remember, I have a lag. So there will be a lag. There's 1 heart. Woohoo! Okay, we need 4 more. I hope that's all who's watching and they're not just, potentially people just have them on. Okay. There we go. You guys ready? So ready. Still waiting. How's it going, you guys? I'm sitting here smelling them. There's 2. I'm smelling these and it smells so good. Oh, there's 3. Almost there. You want 1 more? Comment or heart? You guys, my puppies are coming in. I think they want to try them too. Oh, and there we go. All right, you guys, you ready? Milk. Ooh, which one am I gonna choose? I'm gonna choose this cookie. Cookie? Ready? You're putting the dough in the freezer? Using the oven 93 high. Yeah. So good. Well then, I'm sorry to eat these in front of you guys. They're really, really delicious. If I could, I'd ship them to you so you could try them right now. Did you sneak any dough? You guys like how it's kind of crispy? It's almost like you have little pop rocks in there. You missed the last part, the first part. You can. All right. Don't talk with your mouth full. Those of you that are part of the baking club, you know that we're going to be starting our baking championship baking challenge pretty soon. If you are not familiar with it, we do a baking challenge and it starts at the end of October. I'd love to have you guys there, free of charge, lots of fun stuff for kids. So make sure you do that. You're asking for the recipe. I will put the recipe in the post on this, and I will comment on your comment and make sure you have the recipe. You guys, thank you so much for baking with me. You can rewatch this video and do it again and again and again if you want to. All right, you guys all have a great day, and thank you so, cheers. Have a great day, you guys. Good luck with school. Good luck, you guys, with the parents and the kids. Kiddos, good luck. Gotta be with your moms and dads all the time. Right? All right. Bye, guys. I gotta figure out how to shut this thing off, you guys. It is not my best skill.